Well, you talked about make what makes people tick. I'm curious because we've talked before, and I know that one of the things that maybe still makes you tick, maybe it isn't as prevalent in your life now, but at one point, one thing that really made you tick was achievement and perfectionism, right?
Mhm.
And so, could you talk about that a little bit and how that's affected you, both as a student, but also as you work with people as an instructor? What have you learned personally now that you're trying to, better help others based on your experience with achievement? Because in the firearms space, there's a lot of people trying to achieve a lot of things, right? And a lot of probably perfectionism going on,
Yeah, and
and that can be
that's a
good and
loaded
bad,
question.
maybe. I don't know. You tell me.
Well,
That's a what?
well, that's a loaded question right there. But I mean, from a personal perspective, and I'll be really transparent. I mean, I've struggled with that most of my life. Uh, the extreme hunger for achievement to allow achievement to define who I am, to define my self worth, to define how I project onto the world of what my worth is.
Hmm.
And I'm slowly learning to kind of let a little bit of that go. Uh, to understand that my intrinsic value or extrinsic value isn't necessarily related to what I've achieved, or what I potentially could achieve, but the pursuit of such, I believe, is a measure of character.
Mm-hmm.
So, for me, for a long time, I would go after whatever it is, be it in business, be it in shooting, be it in instructorship. If I met X metric, uh, I would have this, nagging feeling that that would be the thing that made me happy. And normally, when someone falls into that trap, the achievement becomes empty, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing. It's like buying a new car. You go buy a new
Mm-hmm.
car, and it's great for about 6 months. And you're like, man, this is the coolest new car ever. At about month 7, it's a payment, right? And it's no longer
Mm-hmm.
that big shiny thing that you chased after. So once I started kind of realizing that and trying to let some of that go, I found it very freeing, where I could actually enjoy what I was doing versus the pursuit of the end state, where the actual doing and being in it and being present in it is what brought me happiness,
Mm-hmm.
and it wasn't nearly as fleeting.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah, but
yeah,
how did you get there? Because you were extreme. Like,
yeah,
you
no,
were destroying your body, you told me. You were such a
yeah.
perfectionist and a high achiever that you were destroying your body. So, what happened that made the switch for you?
Really, the injury. So I guess to clarify this for some folks. So in really, I'm trying to put together a seminar and something I plan on talking more about, but about my kind of path and how overwork, the wrong kind of work, things like that can actually be detrimental, extremely detrimental to your progress, especially long term. So for me, the past couple years, I've been struggling with, just injury after injury after injury from overwork, and for people to understand that as far as it relates to shooting. So for years, I was doing about 3 hours of dry fire a day, 1,000 rounds of live fire every week, never took a day
That
off
is so crazy.
ever. Um, and it caused me some
Wow.
significant issues physically that I'm still fighting to this day. Now, when that originally happened, really what went down is I actually punctured the nerve root of my radial and ulnar nerves in my left arm and lost the use of my left arm for about 7 months. I mean, I could move
Wow.
it kind of, but no feeling in it. And you want to talk about detrimental to your progress as a speed shooter? That was definitely detrimental. But
Right.
once that happened, I started to realize the people in my tribe, the people that I thought cared more about what I could achieve, actually cared about me as a person. And that was kind of
Mm.
freeing to me. And once I kind of had that realization, um, it opened up a lot of doors to how I think or approach things, and what it really means, what it means to win, what it means to, be at the upper echelon of whatever it is that you're pursuing, and what's the return on that? And certainly not saying you don't want to relentlessly pursue high skill. That's please, please do.
Mhm.
Um, I think where people make mistakes when they're wired like I am is they don't listen to what their body's telling them. They don't listen to the sacrifices that they're making in other aspects of their life, and they're not correctly weighing the return on the investment. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah, definitely, because anything that you pursue in life has, uh you have to weigh what you're willing to give up or sacrifice in order to achieve whatever the thing is. So, you have to decide how much that is worth to you,
Yeah,
and
and
maybe change your perspective too. It sounds like
yeah,
that's kinda what you did.
yeah, and it's purely individual. It's
Mhm.
a purely individual thing. What your motivations are and where you want to be. Now, there are absolute benchmarks in things that you can pursue that I believe are worth pursuing.
Mhm.
Uh, but if you're chasing, let's frame it as like a 1 second draw, and you're chasing a point 0.7,
Mhm.
the amount of effort it takes to go from one to the next is incredibly large, and certainly worthwhile pursuing if that's something that brings you happiness. But it's going to come at a cost, and is that cost worth it to you?